Hey, this is Allison Norris. I'm the founder and CEO of the Dentele Group. And in this podcast, you're going to learn how to hire successfully in the dental industry.
OrthoMarketing.com, 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.
Well, hello everybody out there in podcast land. This is Dean Steinman from Ortho Marketing. And guess what? We are back with another podcast for you. So hopefully everybody is enjoying their weather. Spring is just about here. And so hopefully everybody's smiling. And today we've got a really special guest. As you all know, your staff is the most important part of your practice. And having the right people is important, and keeping them happy is important. Finding them is important. So I'm really excited to have with me Allison Norris, and Allison is the founder and CEO of Dentele Group. And she's going to talk a little bit about the industry and what it's like as far as pitfalls and issues that practices are having, and just talking about what it's like to get the right people in place. So before I even talk more about it, Allison, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks so much for joining. So before we even jump into it, tell us, Allison Norris, tell us your story.
Sure. So I was a dental hygienist by profession, and I left clinical in 2018. I felt like I was meant for a little, something more. And so I ended up going to work at a company called eAssist, and I helped build their consulting division over there. It was really cool. I got to, work with some of the biggest consultants in the industry at the time, and it was just very, very, very a great learning experience, I will say. Anyway, so I left there and I started working at this startup company, and it didn't work out, and so I resigned, and that's when I said, I'm going to launch a recruiting agency. It's going to be a non-clinical one. And so that's what I did. So the Dentele Group, we specialize in placing, non-clinical positions in the dental industry, and we've been very, very successful, very, very fortunate. So
that's awesome. So what made you, decide I'm going to jump into this? Where did you see the hole? That, what was your aha moment?
Well, so when I was with the startup company that I was with, I was recruiting, quote unquote, recruiting affiliates to build this affiliate marketing program. And so those affiliates were dental professionals. And a lot of these dental professionals did not want to be in their clinical roles anymore. And so I had this database of names. And so I started thinking, how can I leverage this database in a way that's going to be mutually beneficial for myself and someone else? And so I said, So I start getting on these Facebook groups, and I'm like, hey, I've got candidates. Do y'all know any? How can we work together? And so then, of course, I had agencies reaching out to me and saying, oh, you've got dental people? Oh, well, you can build your own dental division at our company. I've never even told anybody this story, by the way. But you can come and, build our dental division and all this. And so finally I'm like, why would I go and build a dental division for someone else? And I could just do it myself. And so, so that's what I did. And I had zero clue what I was doing. I just Googled everything. And to this day, I still don't know what I'm doing. No, I do. But, I still do a lot of Googling. But yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to you're a matchmaker, so how do because you're trying it's like trying to find both ends. You have to find practices that need, help, and every practice needs, good staffing across the board. I have 100 practices, and probably 99 of them are complaining about their staff. So you have to find practices that need it. At the same time, you have to go out and find the good candidates. So how do you go about doing that? Because how do you break yourself into two? Because it's two completely different, directions you're going there. So how do you target each of those to start?
Yeah. So, you know what, Dean? I promise you, I don't really know. No, I'm just kidding. No, so I'm really great at getting contracts signed and, bringing on clients. So the business development side is really my forte. And then of course you have to find the candidates. And so I quickly have established a reputation based on trust and integrity. And so candidates easily just come to me. I mean, it's rare for a recruiting agency to have an overabundance of candidates. And, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I've had recruiters that work for me. I've had business development people that work for me. It takes a certain person to really do business development because it is it's tough, to go out and find these companies that want to pay you to hire for them. But at the end of the day, I truly am passionate about it because it's helping the industry. It's helping a company align with a candidate and hopefully that candidate determines that, that it becomes their passion and it's just it's pretty cool. It's rewarding. It's rewarding.
This podcast is sponsored by orthomarketing.com. Hey, you an orthodontist or dentist looking to give your practice the competitive edge it deserves? Well, look no further than Ortho Marketing. Ortho Marketing is the dentist and orthodontist choice for digital marketing. At Ortho Marketing, we specialize in helping orthodontists and dentists just like you attract more new patients. Our team of experts knows the ins and outs of the dental and orthodontic industry, and we're here to help your practice shine. We're going to supercharge your online presence. We're going to optimize your website. We're going to harness the power of social media to connect you with the patients that you want. Say goodbye to empty chairs and say hello to a thriving practice. Choose Ortho Marketing today and watch your patient list grow. Visit orthomarketing.com and learn more and take the first steps towards your practice success. Ortho Marketing. It's not just our name, it's what we do. So what would you say is the two main pain points that a practice has when it comes to their staff? Because you don't want to have turnover, obviously, and a lot of the practice we work with, the front desk person was there 20, 30 years, like long term, which is a positive but a negative, So, what would you say is the number one or two reason that a practice comes to you to find new candidates?
Well, currently, with the way that the hiring market is in dentistry, there's a lot of team members that will just leave on just for nothing. I mean, luckily, I'm trying to think. They just it's like the integrity has left dentistry some. I know that sounds terrible to say, doesn't it? But it seems like it does. I mean, it seems like, used to, like when I was a hygienist, I was at my practice for 10 years. I wanted to stay there long term. And so I think when it all comes down to it, Dean, I think that there's like some headbutting going on between the team members of who has the control in the practice. And if everybody could just align and get along, I think that's the bottom line, and just appreciate one another. That wasn't even the greatest answer to your question.
But let's put it in the doctor's perspective there. What is it that they're looking to find? Is it just somebody that, like, what would you say the number one trait is that a doctor is looking for in a new candidate?
Someone that will stay long term, someone that is loyal, someone that got a great personality. Nowadays they don't even care if they have dental industry experience too much. They just, because they're having such a hard time with hiring currently, I think that that a lot of people are rushing to hire when they shouldn't. And a lot of that is because they're searching in places that they shouldn't be searching for candidates, because the best ones, honestly, are the ones that aren't looking.
Besides somebody quitting, what's the number one reason that a practice contacts you? They just have a vibe, or how do they even know if somebody is not good? Because most doctors don't understand the finances or this or that. They're focused on doing this or that, and they're not HR people. So what, besides somebody leaving, what's the number one reason that a doctor reaches out to you? Is it just to fill in something that somebody did leave, or just that you feel that they feel that there's no continuity in the office, or a head buddy, or somebody doesn't match, or what's the number one reason besides somebody leaving that they'll reach out to you?
Expansion, which is great, right? Because that means there's growth. So if they're expanding their practice, then they'll reach out. If they are just growing and say they're adding a new service, like, for example, like all on fours, right? A lot of times they're wanting to hire a treatment coordinator that's a rock star that can close cases, so I have a couple of those searches going on currently. It really just all depends, but the majority of the time it's either they're expanding or somebody has to move on, or say there's maternity leave, or, something like that. But we really try to stay away from the maternity leave because it's not permanent, Now, if they'll let them stay on, then we'll place those. But,
What are the top two positions that you see as a trend in the industry that people are looking to fill?
The hygienists are very, very high in demand. And of course, assistants are high in demand too. But for the Dentele Group, we're primarily filling operations managers and or office managers, and then of course treatment coordinators. That's at the practice level that we're filling. So.
And talk a little bit about the company. Do you work with practices all over the country, or do you just have this particular geographic area that you focus on?
Yeah, so we're all over the U.S. There's some areas of the country that we just have a higher concentration of candidates in, or more of our network in. But it's all over the U.S. and we work with with private practices, and then we also work with emerging DSOs and or groups, and then some of the bigger DSOs as well.
And how do you go about the source of find the people? So if the practice comes to you from Chicago, do you have anybody in your database now? How do you go about to do that? And how do you pre-qualify them? Like, how do you find out? That's just, your reputation is so important. The last thing you want to do is put people out there that are not good because almost word gets out. So what's talk us about your process? If a practice is looking for somebody and they contact you, what happens from there?
So I used an overpriced software.
Aren't they all?
Yeah. I use a software system that pretty much lets me type in a job title and pulls up all the candidates in a certain radius, which is pretty neat. We also use, of course, LinkedIn Recruiter, which is also another overpriced software. We rarely will find great candidates on Indeed. And so we really try to avoid that as much as we can. But once we find these candidates, these candidates that we're placing are typically passive candidates. That means that they're currently in another opportunity or another, location, practice.
Are they actually looking, or you kind of recruit them, or are they, okay?
We're glorified. Yeah, we're headhunters pretty much. I know that's, but no, we're headhunters. So we are finding candidates that, like I had mentioned, we're finding the candidates that don't want to be found, or they don't know that they want to be found, I should say.
So people that you're reaching out to don't even realize that they're looking for a job. You kind of recruit them, right?
Yes. So we're providing an opportunity. We're providing an opportunity that they may not even know about. So the practices have to have that. They have to provide that value proposition. But once we find those candidates, then we essentially will just, tell them about the opportunity, and then we will do personality assessments, because I think that's key. You want to make sure that the personalities align with the team. We do video interviews and we record those, and we just, include that along with the resume and the personality assessment results. And, we're doing a very comprehensive look into these candidates prior to submitting them. So, when clients work with us, they're not receiving, 10 candidates. We've already vetted down and made sure that we're only submitting the best. So they'll typically only receive, 2 or 3 candidates. And then all they have to do is basically decide whether they want to interview them or not. And then if they do, they just let us know. And, then if they decide they want to hire them, then they just let us know that. We try to take as much off people's plates as it's possible, essentially.
What questions do you ask practice to see if it's a good fit? Because some of them are a little more conservative, some more outgoing. So, you do the personality, check from the applicant. But what about the practice itself? How do you make sure it's a good match?
Yeah. So I'm very selective about the companies that I work with. I want any of my candidates, because I'm very passionate about helping the industry. And so I'm not going to put a candidate into a position where they're going to be unhappy. So I really like to ensure that these companies have great reviews, not just the public reviews, but the employee reviews as well. I think that's key. I like to ask them if they are an insurance driven or if they're a patient focused practice. Because I think that makes a big deal on the team, or that makes a difference with the team. Honestly, if someone reaches out to me, and because it's happened before, where they'll reach out and I'll say, call them by their first name or something, and they're like, "Oh no, it's Dr. so-and-so," in just a very matter-of-fact tone, I'm like, okay, well, we probably aren't a good match, because I don't like to work with those types of people. And they exist, but no, as long as, they have a great reputation, they have a great culture, and, they want to have a team that works together and there's not just an authoritative dictator, then I'll work with them,
What percentage of the people that you hire or place are in office versus remote? Because some jobs are remote from an administrative perspective, or some TCs not only to be in the office and do remote as well. So, if somebody that, when watching this, listens to this, they have to realize that some of the people might not need to be there, which kind of opens up the opportunity to bring in more people. So What percentage of jobs that you place are on-site versus remote?
I wish there were more remote ones that I could that I could work with some of these clients. I would say that probably 75% of my positions are on site. Now, for the practices that are kind of undecided, I am all for remote and having these virtual treatment coordinators and office managers or if you can do your dental billing part-time from home, that's really a huge selling point to candidates. It really is. If companies would allow their team members to do more of that, then they wouldn't have a problem hiring at all. They really wouldn't. And if they have an issue with setting it up, I can recommend exactly what to do. Because they have everything. You can easily make your office secure, and you can easily make your workplace, remote. You just have to have some certain tools, and whether you're, remoting into the practice software or you're, having a dedicated server specifically for that. That's definitely a way that companies could hire easier and faster.
If you really basically, people listen to this, if they look inside and think about one thing that they need for the office, or one person, what's the number one need that you think a practice should look into without even realizing they need it? Because sometimes you don't see the forest of the trees, So, but hearing this, what one bit of advice do you tell a doctor to say, all right, doc, just think, do you have this, or you need this, or you never realize this is available? So is there one thing that they should think of that can potentially be a game changer for their office that, again, they didn't even realize they need?
Can it be software related?
Whatever you tell me.
AI. The AI companies are great. I'll tell you, because I do regular webinars with a lot of these companies, and there are so many options to make your life easier and make your job more efficient, right? There's an AI that will do perio charting for the hygienist. So you don't have to worry about the, assistant having to, leave the doctor, come into the room. The AI does all that. There's the second opinion software that's really cool. That's AI, and it, for some reason, patients they won't believe the doctor all the time, but they sure will believe a computer. That's crazy to me, isn't it?
Yeah. Same thing with my industry, and that's been a big change for us is, automation and AI, and from our perspective, lead generation and, getting back to people from marketing has been a game changer for us. We built a whole AI program to have a pipeline in the CRM because, by the phone rings in an office, you want to get that patient in. If you go into a restaurant tonight, how long are you going to wait before you call another restaurant to find out if you could make a reservation? So same thing with dental practice. You have to automate your strategy and your marketing, and you have to reach out to people many, many times. The average person from a marketing perspective has to be reached out to 8 times within 8 days. Most practices do it once. So implementing AI and automation is so important. You're right. It's a game changer. And what's funny? It's only been maybe like a year and a half that ChatGPT has been out. But it seems like it's been out forever. So it's incredible how quickly the world changes and technology-wise.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be able to survive without AI software system.
Right. So, Allison, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. So in closing, if the doctor wants to get more information or, learn more about you, what's the best way for them to do so?
My email is Allison Norris at thedentelegroup.com. They can also find me on LinkedIn, just, under my name. And Or, if they email me or if they reach out to you, then I can give them my cell phone number.
And guys, I highly recommend, staffing is so important. So many of our practices we work with in Ortho Marketing always need more help or find the right people. And, Allison's great. Her references are great. Her reputation is awesome. Of course, with all the best. So if you're looking for take practice to the next level, reach out to her. So she can certainly help you for sure. So Allison, thanks so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I do have one final question for you. All right. What are you binge watching now?
Oh, Lord. Dean, you're going to make me sound like a crazy person. I have not watched television in so long because I have a 3-year-old. So I know a lot about Paw Patrol. I know a lot about Paw Patrol. But I have not sat down and watched a television show in the longest time. Isn't that terrible?
Good for you. I wish I could say the same thing because I'm bouncing 5 shows. So, so that's great. So, all right. So we're going to change this. So we're going to get one bit of advice for you then. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Let's see.
With a 3-year-old, you probably don't have much time. So what's your favorite thing to cook that's fast?
I like to make chicken Alfredo. My son really likes chicken Alfredo. I really love to make. I mean, it's super simple. But do you like artichokes? Like, the artichokes, and I like artichokes. Let's see. I'm not a great chef. I'm not a great cook. Uber Eats is on my
on your speed dial, huh? Up to the top. That's awesome. Appreciate it. All right, so artichoke and Alfredo.
Sure.
Works for me. Appreciate it. Well, again, Allison, thanks so much, guys. Reach out to Allison Norris. She'll be able to help you, no doubt about it. And I really appreciate you joining us and giving us some insight. So everybody out there in podcast land, thanks so much for watching, for listening. Again, please let us know if you have any questions. Reach out to us. We always like to hear feedback. And if you have any questions or want to reach out to Allison, obviously the information will be down in the notes as well. So, Allison, thank you so much. Everybody in podcast land, thank you so much for listening, for watching, and keep on smiling.
Thank you so much.
OrthoMarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.